Do you ever think about how this works? The electricity that comes from this outlet is generated somewhere else, some unknown distance away, by one of many possible methods. And then it magically travels here to this outlet and to outlets all over the city. Where does the electricity in New York City come from?
I don't know.
No clue.
Oh, I don't remember.
I have no idea.
My specialty in electricity is just not there.
In order to get an answer to a seemingly simple question, we traveled hundreds of miles and spoke to countless people who help keep the lights on.
Did you guys come up from the city?
This is where it all happens.
You ready? We're strapped in?
This is a story about electricity in New York City, and it starts right here with an electrician from Brooklyn who we met on the internet.
Hi, my name is Judah. I'm a licensed master electrician here in New York City. I am from Brooklyn. I wire buildings for a living.
I want to look at something with you. How does this thing work?
Well, this is powered by a circuit breaker, which acts like a switch for the whole circuit.
This pipe is what's connected to downstairs, which is connected to the street. The electricity in New York City is distributed by ConEdison.
One of the things that my group does is we'll replace transformers and switches and service cable to help upgrade the system.
Is it divided like Con Ed, you're here right here, water, you're over here?
Nope, it's all intermingled underground. You see electric crossing steam, crossing gas.
This is the ConEdison Manhattan Control Center.
This group here is responsible for the safe and reliable operation of the electric distribution system in Manhattan.
The main job of Con Ed, like a lot of people would think, oh, they create electricity, I guess, and they have power plants. But in reality, Con Ed is just distributing it.
Correct. We used to generate many moons ago, but right now we're just distributed.
So we have transmission circuits that move power at very high voltages. We move that to transmission substations and area substations. Those substations actually have equipment that step down those voltages to what we call distribution voltages. And we move that to our grid. And really it's either an overhead system or an underground system. Like in Manhattan, everything is 100% underground.
Some of those things are pink and some are green. What exactly are those squares?
Those green squares or rectangles represent actual distribution feeders in each of those networks. The pink or magenta are out of service and we're working on them. If every single one were pink, we consider that to be a network shutdown and we would have a significant problem.
One thing we learned working on this project is that Con Ed is 200 years old, which is even older than the light bulb, which was invented in 1879. In order to better understand the history of electricity in New York City, we went back to our old friend, Ian Fowler. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
At the New York Public Library, who came prepared with a map from the late 1800s.
So this is the time of mass invention. Edison had been working on light bulbs, but it's important to remember Lewis Latimer, who invents the carbon filament that makes the light bulb possible. It creates nightlife as we know it and really revolutionizes the way cities work. What you want to look for is all of these little black squares, and those are going to be your power stations. Early on, way down here, just south of the Brooklyn Bridge, Edison had a power plant. He started downtown in the financial district because that's where you need to get capital from. So you need to show direct evidence of this kind of invention working.
And all this power is being generated by coal.
Burning coal, yep.
With a better sense of the origins of electricity in New York City, I still felt like we needed to learn a little bit more about the basics. How is electricity generated? How do power plants work today? Damian is an expert on this stuff.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that.
And he took us to his roof in Long Island to give us a little lesson in electrical engineering.
I love this thing because it very elegantly shows the relationship between magnetism and electricity. This little black piece of carbon in here is a magnet, and then you've got copper cable here. You just move the magnet, it turns the light. Just from the force of that magnet spinning relative to the conductor, it's sending electrons through that light. On the simplest level, there's a humongous electromagnet in that plant, and they're burning fossil fuel to make steam and spin that humongous electromagnet.
New York's statistics on energy production are broken into upstate and downstate, with New York City obviously included in downstate. In 2022, 95% of energy produced downstate was generated by burning fossil fuels. Less than 5% was generated from renewable sources. We got a shot? We tried to get into countless power plants for this piece, and we had a really hard time getting someone to say yes. But I guess there are some security risks with bringing some random YouTubers into a power plant.
You guys ain't got no knives, guns, anything like that with your pistols under your seats?
No.
We just wanted to visit a power plant to see how electricity can be generated close up. And after sending a bunch of emails, we were able to get the New York Power Authority to invite us to the Blenheim-Gilboa Pump Storage Power Project in upstate New York. It's a highly unique plant that can actually restart the entire New York State grid from a full blackout just by using water. Visiting this plant is when the whole story really started to come together.
Can you introduce yourself?
My name is J.P. Skilling. I'm the operations superintendent for the Central Region of New York.
How does this plant work?
It's a pumped power storage facility, so it's got an upper reservoir that's up top, got a lower reservoir down here. At nighttime, when electricity demand is down, we use electricity to pump up water to the upper reservoir. During the day, when peak demand is high, we run it down and generate electricity to support the grid. Like we talked about, this upper reservoir.
This is the upper reservoir intake, big drain that flows down.
Water pressure of over 1,000 feet down.
And these are basically the 4 turbines.
110 feet below us.
This is what water is actually pushing.
This is the whole thing. The mechanical, down below, the water passage, impeller.
And then that's where the electrons are actually coming out of.
Water flowing, spinning the turbine, creating energy.
Beautiful view up here. And people can go fishing.
I've been up here kayak fishing with my boys.
You get anything?
I have caught a few. I didn't lose any kids, though. That was the important part.
You guys make sure you don't fire it up while we're fishing. When you use electricity at your house, do you think about this?
No.
You just do it. You just turn on the switch.
When it's not there, you think about it.
Spending all this time trying to answer a seemingly simple question, we walked away with one major takeaway. It takes thousands of people with a real sense of pride in their work to keep the lights on.
What's your favorite part about your job?
It's Manhattan. It's the energy. It's a feel.
There's different challenges every day, different equipment.
The pride really comes in when we have those really hot summer days or when we work these off shifts, midnight shifts.
When you're in the power plants, you're running around with a wrench and you're actually seeing how the engineering theory works in practice, and I love that.
We're doing all this to see all this, especially nighttime when you see the skyline.
We make sure that everything is lit up.
It's one thing just to see the skyline lit up. It's another thing to realize all of the work and effort and all the people that actually make that happen.
Just like New York City itself, the power grid is constantly evolving. By 2040, New York City is committed to achieving 100% clean electricity. Wind turbines offshore, more solar panels, and improved transmission lines to access hydropower from upstate. Electricity is a little bit like magic, and as the grid changes over the coming decades, it will be even more magic.
For all the dads out there, tell the kids, turn the lights off, don't overuse the power, especially in the summer, don't overuse the AC.
Right, conserve energy, shut the lights off when you leave the room. Come on, kids, we can all come together on this one.